We're going to hear now from two people who know the party well. Melanie Paradis is the former deputy campaign director to Erin O'Toole. She's in Belleville, Ontario. Rudy Husny is a former Conservative leadership candidate himself and an advisor to Prime Minister Stephen Harper. He's in North Hatley, Quebec. Hello to you both. Thanks for joining me.
Hello.
Well, Rudy, I just want to start with you. Your reaction that Leona Alleslev is bowing out of this. I mean, when you're talking about how hard it is to get the money, maybe that should have been an early warning sign. Any surprises from either of you?
I mean, look, Leona would have been a good candidate. She worked, obviously, she decided to be a Conservative. As you recall, she was a Liberal and decided to switch to our side. So I think that it's sad that she's not on the ballot, but we can thank her for all the work that she's been doing as a previous MP. And remember that she was also deputy leader on the Andrew Scheer for a period of time.
Yeah, Melanie, I remember that day in the legislature when she rose and kind of really stunned the Liberal benches. I was watching from the press gallery and she paraded across. But, you know, losing in the last election, struggling to raise money, I'm guessing you're not surprised by this.
Well, look, I think it's also important to note that Leona Alleslev served our country in uniform as well. She is a tremendous leader. Within our movement, she'll continue to be a tremendous leader. I'm sure that we will see her run again. And I really hope that she is back in the House of Commons soon.
Well, Rudy, let's just talk about the race based on what we know who is in. There are at least 6 verified candidates, so it looks like that number will grow. It's a $300,000 cover charge to get into this thing, right? And there is a clear front runner in Mr. Poilievre. So what do you make of the fact that so many people are willing to put up big bucks when we know there is a clear and obvious front runner this early in the race?
But I mean, look, you go into the race because you want to make sure that you bring new ideas and you want to debate them. And also, it's important to show to our members that we have representation from across the country, that we also have bilingual candidates. I mean, look, last time I wanted to go on a personal note because we didn't have a candidate from Quebec. This time we have a candidate from Quebec. From what we know right now, we are going to have 5 candidates from Ontario and 1 candidate from Quebec. And possibly 1 from Saskatchewan. So I think it's good when you show diversity, that you show different profile, different experience also. And also, as you know, we are a coalition. We like to call ourselves a big tent party. So it's good that we have candidates from the different spectrum of the party to make sure that we debate ideas and at the end that we can come up with a better platform, a better program, that we also bring as much as possible new members in the party and that everybody feel welcome in our party to make sure that we can win the next election, because that's also an important deal. The next election actually has already started in terms of our leadership race, where we are actually talking about topics, bringing new ideas, and those people have an opportunity to debate them and also come from the different spectrum of our party.
So Melanie, how does a growing number of candidates change the strategy for the teams going into this? Because, you know, we're at 6, it's probably going to grow, so it's looking more like when Andrew Scheer won than when Erin O'Toole won, right, in terms of the size of the field. So how do you prepare for that as a candidate?
Yeah, I mean, in 2017, we had 16 candidates, and in 2020, we had 4 on the final ballot. I think that having 6 or 7, it sounds like it'll probably be 7, maybe 8, maybe we'll be surprised, certainly does change the dynamic. It makes it a lot harder for a frontrunner to win 50% plus 1 on the first ballot. And I think one of the things that we're going to see in the weeks ahead is a shift in strategy in order to garner some of that down ballot support, because they really are going to need the support of voters, people who had selected another candidate first, but then ranked you as second or third choice. You need to change your strategy in order to garner that vote now. And that means that some of these attacks that we've been seeing, those are going to shift now too, right? Because you can't be attacking other candidates while asking their supporters to vote for you as well.
Yeah, I forgot it was 16 candidates, by the way, at that time. It's like, that's a Broadway musical.
I'll never forget.
Yeah, no, that's true. But Rudy, just, needing to court the down ballot support, right, and ending the attacks. We saw this from Preston Manning. He wrote a letter to the leadership campaigns telling them to lay off, right? You're poisoning the well. But man, like, you see some of these emails going around, like Marilyn Gladu, essentially, Patrick Brown is a lying liar who lies. They're not shying away from it. And you look at it, you guys are insiders, I'm an outsider. I don't see how that that's helpful if you're going to grow this thing going forward. Has Preston Manning got a point?
Yes, I think Preston Manning has a point. Look, when I saw that letter, I was reminded of, I believe, a quote from Ronald Reagan, who said that the person who agrees with you 80% of the time is a friend and also an ally. He's not 20% a traitor. So I think that all the candidates should remember that at the end of the day, we are all conservative. We're all part of the same party. So yes, we can disagree. And I'm sure that some candidates would disagree on the 80% in terms of disagreement. But we all have to remember that otherwise what is happening is we're just giving ammunition to the Liberals in terms of our different statements that we're making. And we don't look credible as a party to prepare for the next election, because how can Canadians trust us if we are fighting each other at that level? So I think that I believe Preston Manning was right in terms of making sure that he sends that warning in terms of telling everyone that we're part of the same family. But you can also understand that it's fair game. It is a leadership race, so people need to debate and criticize, but we always have to be careful not to give ammunition to the Liberals for the next election.
No, and look, they're tracking all of these things and recording all of these things. You know how this works. But Melanie, I wonder if people are going to take Preston Manning's advice. Going back to Mr. Poilievre, and not to single him out, but he has a very particular political style, right? It's full speed ahead and fire the torpedoes, and he's doing it in the leadership. So do you think Mr. Manning's advice will be heeded, or do you think it's going to stay this kind of sharp-elbowed fashion?
So, look, to be fair, our leaderships always see pointy elbows up.
This is true.
I think that the challenge here has been, we've seen a lot over a short period of time and from a number of candidates. So I think it probably feels like a lot more and more intense than it has perhaps in previous leadership races that were longer. And those attacks were probably more drawn out. I do think that there will be a shift again, because candidates are going to have to pull that down ballot support. But I also think that there are some lessons that we can learn from our provincial counterparts, from Doug Ford in particular, on how to heal those unities afterwards. I think that's something that Andrew Scheer's team, Aaron O'Toole's team, which I was a part of, we both failed to do that, to really bring everybody together under those leaderships. And Doug Ford is a great example of a leader who brought all of the campaign teams immediately following what was a very quick and very aggressive leadership race. It was about like 40 some odd days. And literally the next day had us all in the same war room working together on a campaign that ultimately defeated the Liberals in 2018. And I think that we need to take some lessons from how he did that and from his style of bringing people together. And I really hope that whoever becomes the next leader of the Conservative Party of Canada takes note. Okay, that's a good spot to end it on there. I really appreciate your insight. Melanie, Paradis, Rudy, Husny, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.